Hey guys, so today I want to go over brand image, the Our Story About Us section, what the impact of this is, why it's important, and ultimately how we want to convey the message of our brand to our audience. So let's get into it. So today I'm going to go over a couple different ones. The first one I want to go over is habits. And so essentially how we break it down, and there's a couple different ways you can do this, but you can really choose what you prefer. So the first one, essentially, we want to talk about the brand. Okay, so our story, so this is when we started, our philosophy, what do we believe in, our commitment, right? What are we committed to, what do we care about, and then join us, right? And so we want to really give people an idea of what we're all about and really spell it out for them in a way that is, in a way that is impactful, but inspiring as well, right? What's going to make someone like this journey? And so there's always three sections, three parts of this that I think are important. Number one, the what, right? What is your brand? What are we doing here, right? This is another good example. What are we? Okay, we are a family and a blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's telling you what we are. Okay, we are this. Okay, how do you want to impact people is the second question. And so essentially that's another thing we want to talk about, right, is how do we want to impact people? We want people to believe in themselves, to adopt positive habits 365 days a year, right, just as an example. So the third section is why. Why are we doing this? What is the brand's why? How do we convey that message? And what is our ultimate goal? So the what, the how, the why. When we can express those things, it is going to be very difficult to not build a community, to not have a group of people who really like the brand and not just buy the clothes, but will share the post, will share it with their friends, will wear it proudly, will post about it, and will ultimately give you good name recognition because they believe in the message that you're putting out there. And so I think that's super important to convey is the what, the how, and the why. And so here, this is a Christian clothing brand, and so they talk a lot about their experience and with God and Jesus and how that affects what they do and what they want to accomplish. And then there's one more brand that I want to show you guys. They do a really good job at the promotion aspect of the promotion aspect of the Our Story. And this is a little different. It's a little unconventional. But this is a more personal one, right? It talks about him. It talks about the founder. It talks about his love for fishing and what they do. It's a little more rudimentary and basic, but you know what? It works. And they have really awesome products, and this is a fishing brand. So if you're a fishing enthusiast, you're going to want this stuff. If you're into positive habits and improving your life, you're going to want this stuff. If you're into, Jesus and the gospel and the Bible and things that relate to Christianity, you're going to be into, We the Believers, the brand we just saw. So I think that's super important, and it's something that we definitely want to work on before we run any advertising, before we really get into the promotional aspect. We need to have the branding down pat, and that is the first way we do it. The second thing that is super important is going to be the format and the fonts and the branding, right? That's going to be something that we want to go over. What are the colors of the brand going to be, right? Maybe it's simple black and white, maybe it's blue, maybe it's gold, right? I don't know, whatever your brand is and stands for. What are the fonts? Are they all consistent, right? Is everything consistent across the board? The language, are we rah-rah in our emails, but we're subtle in our posts? Doesn't work. We need to be in alignment with our language, our branding, our fonts, our formats, our colors. Everything needs to be consistent because what that does is it builds trust. And so when we have a really strong Our Story or About Us page, whether we have a charity or not that we contribute to, that's another conversation. Whatever we can do that can impact people outside of just, hey, let me buy your shirt or let me sell this hoodie to you. Anything and everything that we can do outside of that to promote the brand is what's going to allow us and what has allowed us to separate ourselves from the pack, because let's be truthful, everyone and their grandmother and their grandfather has a clothing brand, right? And so what are we going to do to separate ourselves? The first thing we can do is talk about the message, right? A lot of brands do not do that. They just make cool designs and want to sell clothes, which is great. And that is good. You will sell clothes that way. But can you really build a 5K, 10K, 50K a month brand with that? No, it becomes awfully challenging, because then we have to have the best product every single time. Imagine if, hey, even if we don't have the best product, we have a strong brand that people are going to buy regardless. We're going to have that Coca-Cola, that Nike, that Amazon. We're going to have that feel and that understanding between customer and owner that, hey, you trust us, we trust you. You're going to want this stuff. You're buying out of impulse. But the only way we can get there is if we have that strong brand foundation. And it really starts with the Our Story in the About Us section. Hope this was helpful, and looking forward to you guys watching the next section.